Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So this is my first test run, I guess, of a Sabbath meeting. And I know I didn't advertise what time I was going to do it. So that's why we're going to have probably less people in the chat. I have to come up with something that is best for everybody. And I'm not sure how that's going to happen. Just hold on for a second. My audio is playing it. Okay. All right. Okay, so obviously there are going to be technical glitches as I try to do this the best way possible. I'm not really sure what all people would want, if we should start with a prayer or something like that. And I know there's probably not many people watching at this point in time anyway, but you guys can see it on the rerun, I guess, if you want to watch it from the beginning later. So I just pray for our Father to let me know what I should be saying and speaking. And, well, for people to find this if they need to hear what I would say. Okay, somebody just wrote in the chat, hello, so hi. Big Z the rapper. And I'm going to actually share a photo of what I used to look like, kind of give a testimony of what the Father has done for me since 2014. So I'm going to share that screen. All right. So on the left is a picture of me from 2014, and this was the last time I celebrated Christmas with my family. And I didn't realize how big I was at this moment in time. When I saw this photo on my tablet after it was taken that day, I thought to myself that my stomach had gotten big, and I grew up very thin. So thin, in fact, that people would actually make fun of me and suggest that I had an eating disorder, just because that's the way I looked. I looked thin when I grew up. And like I said, they made fun of me for that. So I felt like I shouldn't care what I eat, and I should just eat anything, because if I gain any weight, then basically that's a good thing, because people won't tease me about being thin anymore. So I got into this really bad habit of not caring what I ate and just eating whenever I felt like it. And so, yeah, it was a bad habit to get into. And you hear people talk, you care about what they think. And at this point now, I'm just giving up on that, caring what they think. Once again, when people see the difference, sometimes people will now say that, do you have an eating disorder? Once again, I'm right back there again. But I think that we are supposed to take care of our bodies, and really, we're supposed to fast. You know, Jesus didn't say, if you fast, then do this. He said, when you fast. You know, we were told we were supposed to fast. In the Didache, the early followers believed that there were certain days that they would fast, you know, like 2 days a week or something. So we're supposed to take care of our bodies. And when you fast, you're giving your body the chance to heal itself, because when you're eating all the time, then your body is spending all that energy trying to digest the food that you're putting into your body. When you stop eating for a moment in time, then your body is able to eat the bad cells. It's called autophagy. I might mispronounce it, but it's, you know, there's studies on that where it eats its own bad cells. It will go after the bad cells first. And when you look into dry fasting, it goes after the bad cells that have a lot of liquid, like cysts and things like that, because it's trying to take the liquid from a place that shouldn't deserve liquid, basically. And so it will use the liquid from the bad cells and bad things in your body to feed the good cells. So your body knows how to take care of itself. And, you know, our Father, he designed our bodies to take care of themselves. And we sort of get in the way when we keep shoveling food down there. Our body just gets too bloated. It's working on trying to digest it all the time, and you get slow. You get lethargic, and so I've gotten into this bad habit since I left Kentucky of eating all the time. And I'm trying to get back to intermittent fasting. So I ate last night, but I'm going to try to not eat until after noon, although that might not happen. But at least I'm doing better at this point in time, that I'm trying to do things before I get into eating. And that's why they call breakfast break fast. It's break the fast that you had overnight. And it doesn't have to be in the morning. Breakfast doesn't have to be in the morning. You can break your fast in the afternoon. And that gives your body a chance to heal itself. And you'll have more energy if you're doing everything correctly. Doesn't mean you have to not eat the foods that you want to eat. Although I do suggest, because of my own confirmation, I guess, is that once you do eat healthier, go vegan, etc., that you are going to get healthier. You're going to have more energy. You're going to feel better. And so this is 2014 on the left side, Christmas. And then I thought that I needed to lose some weight on my stomach. I didn't realize how much weight I'd put on. And it wasn't until I was on this trip in Kentucky that I found this picture on my tablet. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've changed a lot. Like, it wasn't just my stomach. I had a lot of weight I had to get rid of. And, I knew that intellectually my pant sizes were, they started to fall down. I had to get smaller and smaller jeans. And I knew that intellectually, but it didn't hit me until I just saw this picture of like how big of a change there was. So I posted this on my Facebook. This picture on the right is me in Kentucky at Lisa's house. So this is a really recent, that's like within a week photo. So, when I was in 2014, the end of 2014, I felt like I had stomach weight, but I didn't do anything. In 2015 in May, so a few months later, then Father woke me up with this dream. And then I went through my deliverance. And then I had this huge weight lifted off of me. And then I was led to pray to like healthier foods because I wanted to get healthier. I was really focused on my stomach. I wasn't focused on the big picture. But I thought my stomach's big enough that I need to get some healing, because I'm sure that the extra fat on my stomach was weighing me down. I had no idea how big the problem was. But it's okay. I was focused on my stomach. And even as I was focused on my stomach for the next couple of years, I just kept praying to like healthier foods and to get healthier. And Father did this, and he worked a miracle in my life. It's miraculous, the change. And Lisa, she had diabetes, or not diabetes. It was arthritis really bad, where it was keeping her from being able to get up and do things, where she was laid up in bed. And it's a miraculous change what going vegan can do for you. And I'm not telling you you have to go vegan. I'm just saying that in my life, when I prayed to like healthier foods, Father led me very slowly to this point. I am 37, I think. I really have to think about this. I'm 37. Yes. Okay. So yeah, we're close to the same age, Ashley. I'm not telling you you have to do what I did, but my suggestion is to pray to our Father to guide you to get healthier, because our bodies are our temples. And if you're eating a lot of food, you're feeling slow, you're feeling lethargic, you're feeling weighted down, and you have no idea. Like, the point of this picture is that I had no idea how I'd gotten to this point. And it was only after I prayed to like healthier foods a couple of years later that I realized how much of a change he worked in my life. And so that's why I sort of wanted to bring this up, just a testimony. And I did mention on my video last night that this channel is not about tickling your ears. If you want the easy way, then don't listen to this, But I think that our Father does want us working on things like gluttony. There's no reason to eat as much as we eat. We're told that we have to eat that much, but if you actually study things out, you realize that when you're not eating, the body is healing itself. And when you're not eating certain foods, then your body is easier to heal itself, because things like meat and dairy can sort of clog you down. like the meat can get clogged into your intestines. And so I do suggest enemas. Coffee enemas are good too. I've been working on trying to do parasite cleanses. And, there's some people that talk um, about parasites being like the worms, the demons, in your body. And I think there's a spiritual connotation to demons at the same time, but I do see parasites as being like demons, if not exactly demons, in various places in the Bible, because Jesus says that you need prayer and fasting to get out certain demons. And fasting is one way to get rid of parasites, because when you're fasting, when you feel hungry, it's very likely that it's the parasites that are feeling hungry, because there's people who can fast and not feel hungry once they've cleansed their body, cleansed the temple. But if you haven't cleansed your body, when you get hungry, it's most likely the parasites that want food. And that's why you get the cravings for sugar and bad things that they love, because that's what keeps them alive. And if you go through fasting and cleansing your temple, you'll find out that you do feel sometimes as if you're dying. And most likely that's because you're feeling that the parasites are dying, and they want you to feel how they're feeling so that you will go and eat what they will live on, what they'll thrive on. So we do need to be aware of this. And when you are fasting, you're also gaining that willpower. You're understanding that you have the power. When you are not fasting, well, when you do fast and you're still, you've got parasites and things like that, they want you to eat. And so you're feeling those hunger pains. So you're feeling what they feel. And it's kind of reminiscent also to when you're trying to get rid of, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm looking at the chat, trying to stay focused here. But when you're trying to get rid of these parasites, these demons, it's very similar to when you're trying to stop sinning. You're a slave to it. If you are stuck feeling like whenever you feel hungry, you have to eat, you're a slave to food. Just in the same way that you're a slave to sin if you feel like you have to continue to sin. The parallels here are very strong because our Father, there's nothing new under the sun. What they dealt with back then is the same thing we're dealing with today, and everything on a macro level is on a micro level too. Somebody asked, do I think having a poo is a sin? No, if you're going to the bathroom, you're getting rid of what's not supposed to be in your body. And the more fiber you eat, the better your body is at getting rid of whatever is left, which you need to not have in your body. You need to continue to get that stuff out. We're supposed to release the toxins, not keep them in our body. You could consider it maybe a sin to keep it all in your body. When you eat meat, your meat is not getting out all of it. It's just releasing toxins in your body. And that is, keeping your body dirty. So if you think that you need to have a cleansed body, then, you need to, continue to get stuff out. And whether or not they did enemas in the past is really regardless, it's not something that you should be focused on, because we're in a point in time where we have been so clogged up, we need to get rid of what's in there. And once you do, then your body is able to, there's like plaque and things like that on the intestines. Once you get rid of all this junk through doing enemas, through detoxifying, using diatomaceous earth, things like that. I have a page on my website about detoxification. And at some point, maybe I'll get one up about parasite cleanses. But once you get rid of all that stuff, your intestines are able to absorb so much more nutrients. That's another thing. When you have parasites, they're absorbing your nutrients. So once you get rid of them, you're actually absorbing your nutrients. So you'll have to eat less. And yes, we should be eating fermented foods as much as we can. I'm not a fan of sauerkraut, even though I know it's really good for you. I try to drink kombucha, even though I know there's a little bit of alcohol in it. Some people aren't aware for that. It's not strong drink, in my opinion. But this is not a video telling you what you should do and what you should not do. I just am throwing out ideas of what happened for me and what I have done and what's been good for me. And so I think that we should try to definitely eat less and fast when we can, when we should. I find the easiest for me is to fast through the morning so that I don't have breakfast, but that break the fast at lunch or something. But for other people, they have different work schedules, and sometimes it might be that they need to skip a dinner instead. Or you can only eat one meal a day. Some people do that. Or some people just want to fast one day a week or something. So it's definitely a good idea to focus on cleansing your body and to be very aware of what you put in and what you put on. There's some things that say that you should not ingest them, but they want you to use it on your skin. And you can think of your skin, your pores, as little mouths on your body. And those little mouths absorb what you put on your skin. So if you don't want something in your body, then don't put it on your skin because you're going to absorb it. You know, we should be very careful about organic things, I think. Although I've had very interesting ideas about those studies like the Dr. Emoto rice experiment, where if you say hateful things to the rice and if you say nice things to the rice, that the hateful one will get disgusting, whereas the loving one is going to it's not going to stink like the hateful one. And so I don't know if you took a GMO fruit, the same GMO fruit as the regular fruit that's, not GMO, and you said loving things to the GMO one, like you're so healthy, you're going to, be great for my body. And if you said hateful things to the non-GMO one, the organic one, then I wonder how that experiment would come out, basically. Because what we say definitely matters. And how we view things matters. We should be careful about what to speak also, as I said, because, if you say that I'm cleansing my body and I'm very focused on what I put into my body and I don't ingest bad things or something like that, if you keep your thought process good and what you say good, you might do a lot more benefit to your body than if you're constantly saying, I can't stop eating unhealthy food. If you are telling yourself that you can't stop eating unhealthy food, you're kind of making it a self-fulfilling prophecy. You need to be very aware of what you're saying. And that's just, we have to be aware of what we say, what we see, what we think, what we eat, because our bodies are our temples. And that is the temple of the Holy Spirit. And if we have a crowded temple, then we do, with lots of food, then we get, and parasites and all that stuff. I mean, can you imagine if parasites are like demons and your body's full of parasites and you don't know? How can you be worshiping our Father in spirit and in truth in the same way if your temple was not? Because, like I said, these parasites make you crave things that are good for them. And there's also in the Nazarene Acts a thing about how the demons want you to do things for them. They want you to eat things that are good for them. They want you to be angry at people because that gives them spiritual power over you. They want you to lust after people because that gives them spiritual power over you. And so you need to take that power back. And Jesus came to free us from being slaves to sin. So, and we know that our Father's Holy Spirit was powerful enough to raise him from the dead. It can raise us from the dead. So think of yourself as spiritually dead when you're full of these parasites and all that, like a your body, and they're thriving on all that stuff, and you're like a tomb. The God of the dead. We need to cleanse our bodies of anything that's disgusting, evil, toxic and gonna, it's what's in our body that makes the parasites thrive. If we put in good things and get rid of the bad things, then the parasites can't, thrive there. So we have to be very, focused on that, I think. And the body was a gift from our Father. It's our temple. What we're going through this life in, we only get one. People misuse their cars, but they just get a new car. Your body, you can't just go get a new body. So we should be paying attention to that. And, as far as the weight issue, some people think like weight is genetic. Well, there's actually, the thing is that people, from your parents, you get this bad bacteria and parasites, and you can get that from your parents. So yeah, you're going to look like your parents if you're just going on what your body is telling you need. I did a video on The Sims where, I'm trying to think of the name of it. I don't remember the name of it right now. But anyway, I was talking about The Sims being like an example of what we're like. Our bodies are like the character, and we have to empty ourselves of what we want to do and do our Father's will instead. And in The Sims, when they're just going on their own AI, their own artificial intelligence, they're going to do really stupid things. In general, we go on this AI that's like what our body is telling us to do. And that's really the parasites are telling you to do. And so you do really stupid things like overeat and eating things that are unhealthy for you, like eating meat. It's a really stupid thing, but we do that because that's what our body is telling us that we need. And oftentimes it's our mind telling us what it thinks we need, but we aren't. Some people say that the gut is like a second brain. There's a lot of those receptors down there. I've talked about that in a previous video. And it's kind of taking over your body if you follow it versus, having this fasting mentality where you take control. You don't want the demons, the parasites, etc., to be in control of your body. You want to be in control of your body. And that's what fasting and cleansing does. It gets rid of all the cobwebs, all the decay, and then it helps you to put in the new good stuff. Like I said, pray to like healthier foods, and you'll find that your tastes actually change over time to like the healthier foods, because that's what your body actually wants and runs on. Kind of had some notes I was just looking at. Okay, is there anything else that you guys want to talk about? Let's look at the chat here. Scientists from years back debunked religion. That's funny. Yeah, I'm not into the whole religion very much. I just want to follow the Father, basically. And okay, I'm back on the video there. I just want to follow our Father and get clean. And that's what praying to our Father has done for me. I just prayed to like healthier foods, and he led me to like healthier foods. And I substituted what was unhealthy with things that are healthy. And I got into a bad habit over the last 3 weeks, but I'm going to try to get back into getting healthier foods in. I went off to the store and got some vegetables and fruit, and I'm going to make some juices and things like that. I make vegan cheeses. That might not be the most healthy thing, but it's much better than eating regular cheese. And, teachers today in churches, preachers, etc., they don't teach on gluttony. They don't talk about these things because there's people that come there that don't want to hear that they should take care of their bodies. But I think it is important to be able to hear from our Father that you do take care of your body. What if you ate a huge meal and you got really tired and you wanted to take a nap, rather than if you ate a small meal and the Father inspired you and you could do a video or go help somebody out who needed help across town. We are supposed to do things for our Father, his will be done, not our own will. And when you choose to eat something rather, overeat, you could be choosing your own will, and now you're going to rest because you ate too much, because your body needs that energy, and that's why it tells you to go to sleep after you ate too much. It needs that energy to digest the food. So that's one way that you're choosing yourself over the Father, your will over the Father. That's like Satanism. When you choose to do your own will, do what thou wilt is the whole of the law for Satanism, rather than our Father's will. Our Father's will is that we would eat enough to be alive, but still not overeat so that you are, too tired to help somebody out when he wants you to. And it could even be helping yourself out if you would have read a book that might have helped you get healthier, but instead you overate and then you take a nap. So we are supposed to do our Father's will instead of our own will. And I think the same thing goes also for meat sacrificed to idols. I've talked about this in previous videos, but if you're new, it's an interesting thought. The companies that raise our meat today, they are very focused on having the best quality with the cheapest price. They're trying to make that price point where it's not, it's cheap enough that people are going to buy it, and it's good enough quality that people are going to buy it. But at the same time, they're focused on if it's cheap enough. They're not looking for the best quality for the most part. They're looking for if it's cheap enough, which means that they cut costs with their animals. They are sacrificing the animal's comfort, and they're sacrificing your health by what they're feeding the animals. They're sacrificing the animals' health by injecting them with hormones and antibiotics so that they don't get sick, except they are getting sick and all that. And they're sacrificing these animals' well-being, and then they sacrifice these animals' lives to give us food. And if you eat that meat, and remember, the word for meat is also the word for food. It's not just flesh. If you eat food that has come from an animal that was sacrificed for money, you're eating food that was meat or food sacrificed to the god of Mammon. It's the god of money. It's the pagan god of money. So you're eating food sacrificed to idols. And we were told not to do that by Jesus in Revelation, among other places, of course. But people might use Paul to say that you can eat meat sacrificed to idols, and I'm just saying that Jesus in Revelation afterwards said that we can't. So what is that doing to our bodies? If there is some sort of spiritual oppression caused from eating meat sacrificed to idols or food sacrificed to idols, we shouldn't want that in our body. So even if you don't care about the health issues, but you do care about the spiritual issues, I would seriously ask you to consider the fact that we were told not to eat food sacrificed to idols. And there is one interesting thing that I was thinking about. This is off topic at this point. But I really, what topic did I have here for this meeting? So long as you guys are enjoying it, I hope. One of the things that Lee brought up while I was on the travels down south was this guy who does counseling with listening to people who talk, the backwards talk, they reverse the speech. And I know that people have talked about how reversing speech is really bad, like a negative thing to do. But what's interesting is that this research, this reverse speech online talks about how children actually learn to speak. Well, let me share the screen here, I think. Okay. I think I'm sharing the screen here now. Okay, so reversespeech.com. It talks about reversals on children, and it says reverse speech research has discovered that children speak backwards before they do forwards. From as early as 4 months of age, they are pronouncing simple words in reverse. And by the time they reach 13 to 14 months of age, complex sentences are forming in reverse. And then there's some examples here. And so I thought this was really interesting. That like one thing here, it says, found by RS student Joan Corin. This child is a 3-year-old girl. Her dad had knocked over a chair, which fell on mommy's foot and broke a bone. The little girl's grandpa says, he hurt mommy very much. The child responds, it's okay. But in reverse, she says, it was not. It's interesting. The next one also, in this example, daddy is changing a dirty diaper. The child says forwards, a diaper. And backwards, he says, help me out. Like, help me out of this diaper, which is really interesting. I don't know about all of it, but it could just be that what is heard in reverse is more your spirit, where you're at. And not just that it's negative all the time, but that it could just be the truth coming out. And that's why it could be a good thing. In one of these cases, it's actually the exact same thing. This one says, love you, mama, and backwards, it says the exact forwards is played forwards and backwards. It's, love you, mama, both forwards and backwards. So, and it's like a mirror image. And I have that playlist about God and his wisdom. Hold on a second. Try to find the playlist. And I think of ourselves as sort of a mirror image. We are the image of the Father. Like I've talked about it beforehand. We are like the puzzle image on a puzzle box, and we're supposed to show our Father. And you can think of us as a mirror image, like a river or a lake. And in that case, we're supposed to reflect our Father. But when your body or when your mind is being thrown about like every wave of every doctrine, then it's really hard to see the image, I guess, basically. If you have water underneath you and it's very windy out, the waves are chopping up the water and you can't see the sky. But when the water is so very still and the wind is no longer blowing back and forth, those false doctrines aren't throwing you back and forth, then you can actually look very calm, peaceful, and reflect the Father to everybody. So I thought that was very interesting. If we are a reflection of our Father, is that why, we end up in this world speaking backwards? I mean, if the true language is a reverse of what we're speaking today, is it, speaking backwards actually the truth? And what we hear here now backwards is actually the falsehoods, the deceptions. And so I just thought that was really an interesting idea, how it kind of ties in with us being the image of the Father. But most people are not the image of the Father. Most people are thrown about by every wind of doctrine. And so it is hard to really see the Father. But when you see us, you're supposed to see the Father. When we do our Father's will, when we are telling the truth, then the reflection will be forwards and backwards the same thing. So I just thought that was really interesting. Thank you all for coming in to, chat amongst yourselves too. I hope you enjoyed this, and maybe I can do this every Sabbath. I don't know, maybe Friday night, Sabbath morning. Like I said, I know people have different ideas about when the Sabbath is. So thank you all for joining, and I do pray that you all are going to have a blessed Sabbath. And, maybe just think about some of the things that I spoke on. Ask your, pay attention when you go to eat, and pay attention when you are talking, what you're saying. Is it the truth? I also have a video on, that we're supposed to not lie. And so maybe I'll leave the link below in the chat. I'm not in the chat room, but on the description box below, so you can come back and see it. Yeah, so I'm going to write that down. And God and His Wisdom playlist. If you've never seen the God and His Wisdom playlist, it's very interesting, I think. We are supposed to be the image of the Father. So also when you are seeing somebody, you know, what you give off is a reflection of who you come from. In 1 John, it talks about how we manifest our Father to the world. When you sin, you're manifesting that your father is the devil. When you are not sinning, then you're manifesting that your father is, you know, the Elohim who was not begotten, the pure Almighty. So we are supposed to manifest that to the world. So try to think about that when you're interacting with people. What are they seeing from you? If you start to get angry at somebody, you know, our Father blesses those who are evil and those who are good. We're supposed to bless those who curse us. You know, if you're angry, let it go. Understand that everybody has these issues. We're all learning here, and just let it go. Forgive. If you forgive, then you'll be forgiven. And so I hope that you can't hear the dog because she's barking really loudly and she's been barking. Sorry about that. So yeah, just think about what you're manifesting to the world and try to give the best impression of our Father as you can. You know, when you sin, you're profaning His holy name. So we should definitely just be aware of what we're doing. And when people see your body, like I shared, I'm going to share it one more time if people are new here and they just came in. Just hold on, I'll find the picture. When people saw me in 2014, I was manifesting to the world that I was not taking care of my temple. When people see me today, I'm manifesting to the world that I am taking care of my temple. So we should be aware of how we're manifesting our Father to the world. And our Father is going to have a bunch of healthy, holy, that is set apart people from the world. If you look just like the world, then you're showing that you are a part of the world, basically. If you don't look like the world, then you're looking holy, that is set apart from the world, and you're showing that you are from our Father. So just pay attention to how you're manifesting to the world, you know, what you are, who you follow, etc. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.